Welcome!
One day, you begin to notice something important about your English, and this thought stays in your mind. You understand more than before when you listen or read, and you can recognize many words. But when you try to speak, your pronunciation feels blocked, and your voice does not come out the way you expect. This difference confuses you, because you know you have learned many things already. You start to feel that something is missing, even if you cannot explain it clearly. As you think more about it, you begin to see that the problem is not a lack of knowledge. You already know simple words, basic sentences, and useful expressions. The real problem is that you are not using your voice enough to make these things active. You understand in your mind, but your mouth does not have enough practice to follow your thoughts. This idea changes the way you see your learning process. You begin to understand that speaking is not only about knowing, but also about doing. Then you discover something new that changes your perspective even more. You realize that there is a hidden voice inside you, a voice that already has some English but is not trained yet. This voice is not strong because it has not been used enough in real practice. It needs repetition, attention, and time to grow and become clear. This discovery feels important, because now you know what you need to work on. You are not starting from zero, you are unlocking something that already exists. This moment becomes the beginning of a new phase in your journey, because now your goal is clearer than before. You decide that you will no longer stay only in your head, thinking about English without speaking. You begin to use your voice, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. You repeat words, try simple sentences, and listen to your own pronunciation. It is not perfect, but it is real, and that is what matters. This action begins to create a connection between your mind and your voice. From that day on, you feel a new kind of motivation, because now you understand your challenge. You are not trying to learn everything again, but to train your voice step by step. You know that your pronunciation will improve with practice and patience. This gives you more confidence to continue, even when it feels slow. You understand that your voice is not missing, it is only hidden and waiting to be developed. And this is where your journey to unlock your pronunciation truly begins. After you understand that your voice needs training, you begin with the first 2 steps, and they feel simple but very important. You start to listen with real attention, not just hearing words, but noticing how they sound and move. You listen to short phrases and focus on the rhythm, the stress, and the small sounds inside each word. Then you repeat what you hear, slowly and carefully, trying to copy the sound as closely as you can. This practice may look easy from the outside, but inside your mind, something new is starting to grow. Each day, you continue this routine, and it becomes a normal part of your learning process. You choose simple sentences and repeat them many times, even if they feel strange at first. You begin to notice how English sounds are different from your own language, and this helps you adjust your voice. You pay attention to how words connect and how the rhythm changes in a sentence. This daily repetition starts to build a stronger connection between your ears and your voice. Step by step, your pronunciation begins to form in a clearer way. After some days, you begin to feel a little frustrated, and this becomes a light climax in your journey. It seems like you are doing the same thing every day, but you do not hear big changes. Your voice still feels unsure, and your pronunciation still feels far from what you want. You start to think that maybe this method is too simple or too slow. For a moment, you almost decide to stop and try something else. This feeling is strong, because progress does not always appear quickly. But then, something small begins to change, and you notice it only when you pay close attention. A word sounds a little clearer than before, or a sentence feels easier to say. You hear yourself and realize that your rhythm is improving, even if it is only a little. These small improvements may not be big, but they are real. You understand that progress is happening, even if it is slow. This moment changes your perspective, because now you see that details matter. From that point on, you begin to practice with more patience and more focus on small changes. You understand that listening and repeating are not simple actions, but powerful tools for growth. Each time you listen carefully and repeat with intention, your voice becomes a little stronger. You stop looking for fast results and begin to trust the process. This helps you continue without giving up, because now you know that real improvement comes from small steps. And this is how your hidden voice starts to become more clear and active. After some days of listening and repeating, you move to the next steps, and they change the way you use your voice. You begin to speak out loud more often, even when you are alone, and this feels different at first. Before, you stayed more in your head, thinking about English, but now you bring the language to your mouth. You also learn to slow down when you speak, and this gives you more control over each sound. This change may feel simple, but it creates a new connection between your mind and your voice. At the beginning, speaking out loud feels strange, and sometimes you feel unsure about your pronunciation. You may think that your voice does not sound correct, and this can make you feel uncomfortable. But you continue, because you understand that your voice needs practice, not perfection. When you slow down, you can hear yourself more clearly and notice small mistakes. This helps you correct your sounds and improve step by step. Each time you speak, your mouth becomes more familiar with the movements of English. As you continue this practice, your mouth begins to adapt to the new sounds, and this is an important moment in your journey. Words that once felt difficult start to feel more natural when you say them slowly. You begin to notice how your lips, tongue, and voice work together to create the right sound. This awareness helps you speak with more clarity and less confusion. Even if your sentences are simple, they begin to sound more organized and clear. This change gives you a new sense of control. This becomes a strong point in your learning process, because now your pronunciation starts to improve in a visible way. You can hear the difference in your own voice, and this makes you feel more confident. When you speak slowly, your words come out more clearly, and your message becomes easier to understand. This clarity is important because it shows that your effort is working. You begin to trust your voice more, and this trust helps you continue practicing. From this point on, you feel that your voice is starting to appear and become more present in your learning. You are no longer only listening and repeating, but also expressing yourself in a real way. Your pronunciation is not perfect, but it is improving, and that is what matters. You understand that speaking out loud and slowing down are powerful steps in your journey. They help you build control, clarity, and confidence at the same time. And this is the moment when your hidden voice begins to show itself. After learning to speak out loud and slow down, you move to the next steps, and they bring a new kind of challenge to your journey. You begin to accept that making mistakes is not a problem, but a necessary part of learning. Before, you tried to avoid errors because they made you feel uncomfortable. Now, you understand that mistakes show you where you need to improve. This new mindset helps you feel more open when you speak. You begin to see errors as steps, not as failures. Soon, you start using English in real situations, and this feels different from practice at home. You speak with people, ask questions, or respond in simple conversations, even if your English is still basic. In these moments, you feel pressure, because you want to understand and be understood. Your heart beats faster, and your mind works quickly to find the right words. Even so, you continue speaking, because you know that real practice is necessary. This experience pushes you forward in a strong way. At first, this pressure feels difficult, and you may feel unsure about your pronunciation and your sentences. You may not understand everything, and sometimes your answers are not perfect. But something important begins to happen inside you. You notice that you are able to continue, even when things are not clear. You find simple ways to express your ideas, and you begin to feel more comfortable in real situations. This shows you that your learning is becoming useful. This becomes a strong moment in your journey, because now you see that real practice teaches more than perfect exercises. When you use English in real life, your mind and your voice work together in a new way. You learn faster because you are using the language for a real purpose. Each conversation helps you understand more and speak better the next time. This experience gives you confidence that comes from action, not from theory. From that point on, your confidence begins to grow in a real and lasting way. You are no longer afraid of making mistakes, because you know they are part of your progress. You continue to speak, listen, and respond, even when things are not perfect. Your pronunciation improves because you are using it often, and your understanding becomes stronger with each experience. You realize that real growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone. And this is where your voice becomes stronger and more confident every day. At the end of this journey, you begin to feel a strong and clear change in the way you speak and understand English. Your pronunciation improves because you trained every day with patience and focus. You did not depend on talent or special ability, but on simple and consistent practice. Step by step, your voice learned how to form sounds in a more natural way. This makes you feel proud, because you know your progress is real. You can now see the result of all your effort. When you speak, your words come out with more clarity, and your sentences feel more organized than before. You understand more when you listen, and you respond with less hesitation in simple conversations. Your mind works faster, and your voice follows your thoughts more easily. You may still make mistakes, but they no longer stop you or create fear. Instead, they help you continue learning and improving. This gives you a new kind of confidence that feels stable and honest. Your hidden voice is no longer hidden, because you gave it time to grow and become stronger. It is now active and present in your daily life, and you can use it when you need it. You are not only thinking in English, but also speaking and expressing your ideas. This change shows that your voice was always there, waiting to be developed. You did not create something new, you unlocked something that already existed inside you. This understanding makes your journey feel meaningful. This is the final climax of your story, because now you see the truth about your progress. Unlocking your pronunciation was not about being perfect or having special talent. It was about practice, repetition, and the courage to continue even when it felt difficult. Each step you took helped you build your voice little by little. Now you can speak with more freedom, and this freedom changes how you feel about English. You are no longer afraid to use your voice. From this point on, you carry an important lesson that will guide you in the future. You know that consistent effort can create real change, even when progress feels slow. Your English will continue to grow because you now understand how to practice in the right way. Your voice will become stronger with time, and your confidence will keep rising. You are ready to face new challenges, because you trust your process. And now you know that your voice was never lost, it was only waiting for you to use it.